Hello, everyone. This is Venom, and we are here to talk about a subject that, quite frankly, I am tired of hearing about. Not because of the subject matter itself. I mean, we need to hear about the news coming out. This is very, very important what's going on. But I am just tired of how much the company I love, or I should say, the company that has made the game I love, is fucking up. It's time to go ahead and talk about everything going on with Bungie. Alright, so for those who don't know, Bungie is currently wrapped up in controversy after controversy. It's been going on for a while now. I'm not going to get into the history of it because I could probably I might actually do that at some point. If I really get a hair up my ass, I will go through and try and make a documentary of everything Bungie has ever done. As far as Destiny 2 is gone. But today we're going to be talking about Marathon. We're going to be talking about Destiny 2. And then later on, I'm going to do myself a little bit of fan service. I'm going to be talking about some things I would like to see in Destiny 2. I highly doubt 99.9% of them ever happen, but in the off chance that the stars align and someone at Bungie sees my video and they get some cool ideas from it, I am all for it. Hell, call me up. Hell, you can steal the ideas. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, if you like them, if somebody does see it, I do hope you watch. But let's go ahead and talk about the not so fun stuff first. Now, Marathon is a big controversy going on right now. For those who don't know, it's turned out that some Bungie artists have apparently, and again, this is all alleged as of right now, and I may screw some things up. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to write down names. I'm terrible with names, but I'm gonna give you the general what's going on because most of it's gonna be my opinion. Basically, everybody, their mom is giving you the lowdown of what's happening, word for word. But I want to just give you kind of my understanding of things. So basically, Bungie got caught stealing artwork from Marathon. Now, Bungie was taken over by Sony here recently. They had a partnership going on. Bungie is basically under-delivered with their not really flagship. I guess their main product, that's Destiny 2. I guess they did not want to be just a studio making one game, which makes sense. You want to diversify the games you're making because you want to try, in case Destiny 2 fails, you want to have some backups or, increase your revenue stream. So they started putting money into other projects, which Destiny 2 was making all their money. So, Destiny 2 was funding all this. Now, they were taking that money coming in from Destiny 2 and they were putting it into all these other projects, and one of them was Marathon. Now, this would not be a problem intrinsically, except they were not taking care of Destiny 2 while they were funding these other projects. See, now me, I'm a layman as far as business. I'm just starting out, but it seems to me, and again, this is just me, that if you are a studio known for one game and that game is funding a bunch of other projects, then you probably want to make sure your base of that game is tight, is good. However, it seems that Bungie, the execs, to a degree, some artists, but for the most part, the execs have basically done the unthinkable and basically said, fuck it, we're going to try to push everything to Marathon, everything these other games, fuck what happens to you guys, we're going to try to get our bonuses, and we're going to dip. That seems to be what's going on. What's happened is that the Destiny 2 has basically gone down the shitter. There have been, I think we're over like 700. I got to double check the numbers, but we're on so many layoffs right now, it's not even funny. Lightfall really hurt the game. It looked really good in the trailers, and then when it came out, it was shit. Nobody knew what was going on in the story. It was really bad. Nobody liked the characters. We didn't really know what's going on. You didn't even find out what you were doing really until later, like even months down the line. So that horrible experience killed the pre-orders and actually the final sales for the final shape, which was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal end to the Light and Darkness saga for Destiny 2. But I did not understand just how bad Lightfall hurt them because it destroyed pre-orders and destroyed total sales for it. It sold way worse. I think it was like one of the lowest, or not lowest. I know it sold less than Lightfall. It was bad. It was bad, which is really, really unfortunate because it was such a good story. It's such a good experience. I'm still doing some of the content for it today. I'm still grinding out some of the stuff. It's amazing. Introduced great subclasses, introduced a bunch of weapons, but I'm going to get sidetracked. It was really good, but Bungie basically fucked up by releasing a half-baked product as filler, and then now basically Destiny's in trouble, or I should say more trouble, because they've basically been mired in controversy since Destiny 2 released. Everything from throttling experience to trying to maximize people spending money in a cash store to we just found out even recently that apparently Bungie execs flat out said, put all the cool stuff in the in the Cash Shop in the Eververse, which all they did was say the part we already knew out loud. I mean, the things that have happened with Bungie, the community has called them on it to the point that they will say, no, this isn't happening, this isn't happening, this isn't happening, and then someone comes out with receipts. It's like it's like a comedy sketch. It really is. It's like a really bad Law and Order skit to where like every time Bungie comes out with a defense, the prosecution's just like, well, here's this evidence, here's this evidence. It's been really bad. So Bungie steeped in controversy at this point. Now, the only reason they're still going is because the fan base loves Destiny 2 so much, myself included. But even then, they are just bleeding players. I think we're at the lowest player count as of right now, or close to it. They are just bleeding players. We've got Frontiers coming out later on this year. But, yeah, that's the state Bungie is in right now. That's the state Destiny 2 is in. Really shaky. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, right now, they're basically crawling by just on their fan base, but they've under delivered for everything with Sony. So Sony's basically stepped in and they're like, okay, we didn't pay all these billions of dollars for you guys to fuck up like this. So Sony basically admonished the C-suite, and they're taking a more active approach or a more hands-on approach with them. They've put some of their people in there. They've taken some of their team out. It sounds like they are basically going through and cleaning the house and telling them to get their shit together. Now, of course, Sony's no saint. They're really worse in a lot of ways than Bungie is. That being said, I've always said when Sony looks like the good guys in this, you really fucked up. So that's where we're at right now. Now, one of the projects that was going to be released and is being funded by Destiny 2 was Marathon. I think another one was called Project Teddy or Gummy Bear or something like that. Basically, all these other projects are going on, and the one that was closest to being finished was Marathon. So because it was so close to being finished, they were trying to push that one to get it out, trying to get some money out. But even from the beginning, people were not feeling Marathon. That's kind of the first nail in the coffin. It's an extraction shooter. I think they were talking about it being a hero shooter. They kind of went back and forth, and then they're like, okay, it's going to be an extraction shooter, strictly PvP, no PvE in it. And keep in mind, this is the company that made Destiny 2, so for the most part, obviously, your core audience is already, you're hoping to extract some from Destiny 2. The problem is, not a lot of Destiny 2 people are just into strictly PvP stuff. Now, there is a healthy PvP player base in Destiny 2, but not that many people were interested. Now, I think they tested it with some Destiny 2 streamers and even some Tarkov streamers, and nobody's feeling the game. Even at this point, there's not a lot of people. I mean, there's plenty, I'm sure, that are interested. I'm sure that the game would sell good if it had a decent budget. If it was an indie game, it'd probably do well if it weren't for the controversies. But unfortunately, it's not an indie game. I think there were some estimates that I'm not sure. I know it was a big budget game, and they basically been chasing bad money with good. But yeah, from the get-go, people just were not really hyped about it. I mean, again, the original Marathon, this is the second one. Bungie came out with Marathon, the original one, way back in the day, but it had a PvE mode, and this one was not coming with one. So nobody was liking this game. This game was basically tailored to nobody, but they're pushing it super hard, even though everybody in the gaming space was saying, why? Now, there were some people saying, okay, give Bungie a chance, yada, yada, yada. I think for the most part, the community was like, okay, at best, we didn't really ask for this, but let's wait and see what happens. But yeah, for the most part, nobody really cared. They were really worried about what was going on with Destiny 2 or other games at the time. Sorry, let me take a sip of my coffee here, because I got a lot to say tonight. So we get to that point. Now, so we are close to, I think September is when Marathon is supposed to start launching, or is supposed to launch. And as we're getting close to that, things start ramping up. Bungie is, of course, having more and more controversies left and right. C-suite people spending millions upon millions on, hundreds of classic cars while people are getting laid off at Bungie. It's been really bad. Again, I cannot stress enough that Bungie is basically in the shitter right now, and the only thing that's kept them alive at this point are the good graces of the community that, honestly, yeah, it's there because of them, but a lot of the community was built. They would have been built around another game if Destiny 2 hadn't come there. So, either way, a really good, solid community. That's the only thing keeping Bungie afloat right now, even amidst accusations of XP throttling, of, blaming Bungie for putting all the good cosmetics in the store, which, of course, we found out that is true. That they were trying to gear things to put all the good stuff in the store so that people would spend more. So we got all that, and then here recently we just found out that Marathon, whose art style, before I even go on, I want to preface this because I want you to know there is some bias when I say this, but Marathon has a very unique art style. I will give it that. It is a very well fleshed out art style from what I've seen, even though it's stolen, which I'm about to get to. But it is a very well fleshed out art style, but it is the kind of art style that, while I appreciate it, would give me a headache, and I absolutely do not like. Even if this was a game that, even if this was like, a Destiny 2 map or something, I would absolutely hate playing this one. This style of game is just not my thing. It's not my style it's just not my aesthetic. So it's something that I do not like personally. So I'm letting you know that it looks good. It is well done. I will say it is very artistically done. It's very well put together. I can still appreciate that, even if it's not what I prefer. So I'm putting that out there. But Marathon, to me, I do not like the look of it. Now, as it turns out, it looks like a lot of the art was stolen from another artist, a struggling artist, as it turns out. And I do apologize, I forgot their name. We'll try to link it down in the description down below. But yeah, it turns out that some of the assets were stolen. There were some signs, there were some symbols, there was some stuff that was stolen. And I mean, honestly, looking at a lot of the art that the artist did and looking at the side by sides of it, at the very least, the signs, I wouldn't even say heavily inspired. I'd say Bungie. I'd say if you were to take those symbols that that artist made, and you were to create art, at the very least, like signs, like random signs for backgrounds that you would see, if you were to create art, like if you gave 100 people that symbol, tell them to create art kind of based around this aesthetic, I'd say 90% of them would look very similar to what you'd see in Marathon right now. So it is, I would say it's, the art style of Marathon is very heavily ripped from this artist. I'm not going to say inspired, because I'm not sure exactly what percentage it is, because it's not just signs, some other things that might be a part of it as well. But as far as, I mean, I can speak about the signs, and I would say that, yeah, it's blatant rip-off. The entire aesthetic is. And I would honestly say, too, if you would just expand that past the signs, if you'd say, create a game, create a world based around this, too, I'd say probably about 50% of people will come out with something like this. Maybe the other 40 will come out with something that kind of look like, Cyberpunk 2077, and the other 10% kind of whatever. But I could very easily make the case that if you took this artist's work, you could very easily come out with Marathon, and you can make that argument pretty easily. So, accusations of stolen artwork. Now, keep in mind, this is not the first time that Bungie has been accused and proven to have stolen artwork for Destiny 2. There was another case for the Final Shape where some artwork had been stolen from another artist. And again, I'll try to get them below, but they found out about that. I mean, this blew up. They were supposed to pay that artist. This all got settled, and apparently whoever was in charge of that, well, I'm not going to say that. That might have been a weird comment, but apparently the guy still hasn't been paid. He's basically getting nothing. So since this new accusations come up, I expect that the original one will also come up more too, and hopefully we can get those both resolved. Now, so not only do you have a game that you created for basically nobody, because nobody wanted the game. Extraction shooters are very, very niche, and very few do well. Most die. But you made a very niche game banking on a core audience that, for the most part, doesn't really like that kind of game, or they would probably be playing it instead of, Destiny 2. You're already in trouble for, like, multiple controversies per year. So you're already in trouble for that. You're already in trouble for a really shitty expansion cycle. We have huge ups when it comes to Destiny 2 expansions, and then really low lows. And people are getting really tired of that roller coaster. They're getting tired of stale content. So, like I said, any other company, I honestly think they would have been done already. But it's the community keeping the game alive at this point. But you've got all that on top of the fact that now you've got stolen assets in your game. And now the original accusations that came out too, it turns out you ignored that when you said you were going to pay it. Now you got eyes on that too. So that's what we're looking at for Bungie right now. So, yeah, it is not looking good for them. Now, I'm not sure what's happening with their other projects. It's also not looking good that Destiny, what the fuck is that damn thing called? Destiny Rising, I think is what it's called, the mobile Destiny game. I was just making the joke the other day. I hadn't heard crap about that game since its big release, and then it kind of died. Kind of like The Descent, or I think is what the game was called. You know, it was big for like a month, and then nobody said shit about it again. But yeah, apparently it just came out with some new shit. I'm still pissed that there was a scythe in Destiny Rising, and I don't have a scythe in real Destiny. I mean, they've got features in Destiny Rising that we should have in Destiny 2. I'm going to talk about some of that later on too. Some stuff I think that they could add in that would help. But yeah, it's been bad. It's bad when Destiny Rising is looking better than Destiny 2. Now, now that I've said that from the beginning, well, I've explained all that. I do want to explain one other thing too. I've explained that I didn't like Marathon's art style. Now I do got to explain that even though Marathon is not a game I care about, even if it's a game I'm not interested in playing, I don't necessarily mind, other games. I mean, I can appreciate when a game is well made, even though it's not a game that I would want to play. Like sports games in general, I don't like sports games, but I can appreciate that people like them, and there are some that are really good, and people love playing them. I mean, 2K is a huge one, so that's one I don't play, but I know people love playing it, so I respect that. That being said, I don't respect Marathon as a game. Um, and I'm not saying that Marathon in a concept is bad. I mean, again, it's a risky concept because not a lot of extraction shooters do well. But if you do well, then you got a loyal audience. So I mean, it's high risk, I guess high reward, high risk, medium reward, I guess, but very, very, very high risk. Now, I don't respect Marathon as a game, not because of what it is. I don't respect it because of the decisions that the Bungie execs made. Because I can say that Destiny 2 has. It's hard to not make the argument that Destiny 2 hasn't suffered because of Marathon. Destiny 2 has definitely suffered because of Marathon. First off, we've got a ton of layoffs going on. And I think a Marathon hadn't been a thing. I think if they hadn't expended as many resources into making a game that nobody wanted, that those resources could have gone into Destiny 2. Think about how many millions of dollars, I think they were talking like hundreds of millions of dollars that went into making Marathon. Imagine if you had an additional $100 million that was spent on Destiny 2 over like the last 5 years. Imagine the kind of things we could have. Tons of features that we've been asking for years that we just have never gotten. So imagine that. It's hard to not be a little bit bitter about that. When I found out about another game that was coming out for this extraction shooter or hero shooter, we didn't know what it was at the time, and I found out that they were diverting resources from Destiny 2. At the time, Destiny 2 wasn't doing good. I mean, still not, and I was and still am salty that so many resources were diverted. When I'm a player, as a player, I didn't like it, and as a businessman, I didn't like it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to cripple your main source of income before you take on this risky investment. In fact, you shouldn't be taking on that risky investment at all when your main source is, dying. Take care of your main source if you got all these funds, especially when I've just partnered with somebody who can take over my company, basically, if I fuck up. But, I mean, I think the word on the street is that all the execs are basically going to be getting bonuses as long as certain things were made or certain deadlines were made. I don't know the details, but it seems like that might be what the execs are trying to do. Just hit those deadlines, fuck everything else, just do what you got to do to make sure those were hit so that they can get their money and dip out. I think there was talk a month around the office, apparently, these guys, that was their plan to, get the money and dip out. But yeah, I'm upset about Marathon because of that. Pretty much, I mean, whatever other projects were going on that were being funded by Destiny 2, I think they all fall under the same umbrella, as far as I'm concerned, as Marathon. Marathon is just the one who's taking the brunt of the hit because that's the one that would be ready to go first. So it's kind of taking the hit of the other games. But anything that was going on, I mean, if Marathon was like 200-300 million, I mean, imagine the resources of everything. We can say maybe we're just lowball at $500 million. All of that could have been in Destiny 2. Imagine if we had just had 20% of that. That would have been so much more. So many more things we could have had in Destiny 2. So many more. I mean, we could have had more testers. We could have had more quality control. We could have had more security. I mean, cheating in PvP and PvE has got cheaters now. I mean, the anti-cheat is terrible in there. I mean, we've got basically no quality control in the game now. It's all things that have been said 100 times, but that is what's going on right now. Don't know what's going to happen with it. I think people are kind of hoping, or the idea, this is the idea I came up with too, is for Bungie to hire on that artist now, back pay him for everything that he did and pay him royalties and just add him on as an artist going forward. That would solve everything. I mean, they would have to pay some kind of penalty. hire him unofficially. Probably have to give him some kind of future contract as well if he would accept it, and pay him whatever back royalties he needs on top of interest and on top of a guaranteed job going forward. That, I think, to me, if I was coming on as a CEO, that would be my offer. I would say, hey, drop whatever lawsuit. Here's what I would offer you, and if you don't accept that, that's fine. I accept it. Go forward with the lawsuit. I completely understand. I would completely understand that, but that is what I would offer. That would be my offer. Now, he may accept it, he may not. Who knows? But that is kind of a popular opinion. What Bungie could do. Now, going forward, now I'm going to talk about some of the things I would like to see in Destiny 2. Now, these are pipe dreams, and one in particular. I know it's going to sound dumb, but stay with me because I think it could be a really, really cool idea. And all this is going to be in the preface of, I thought of it this way. Destiny has always been a franchise that's been half in, half out as an MMO. It's a first-person shooter, but, it's an MMO. It is technically an MMO, a massively multiplayer online game. Now, there are very few games like it. It was I want to say the first of its kind, but very few were like this. Now, some of these ideas I'm going to say, people are probably going to say that would never work in this game. That would never work in this game. That kind of thing would never work. But I say I beg to differ because I think previously, when Destiny 1 was out, before the Vault of Glass release, I think people would probably say an MMO-style raid would never work in a first-person shooter, and then Vault of Glass came out. I bet that people would have said that a raid would not work, and then Vault of Glass came out, and Destiny 2 is known as the first-person shooter. It is a raid. Some of the raids have caused ripples among the internet runs the gaming sphere, so just keep an open mind when I'm talking about some of these. Now, first thing, it is something that is actually kind of requested a lot by the community, and that is player housing. Not only that, but also like guild housing too, something to do with the clans. So they could very easily write in something saying that since both the Guardian and technically the Ghost, since it killed the Witness, it delivered the fire blow. Since we both killed Hive Gods and the Witness, then we have now got our own throne world, and you can make that the premise for letting us have our own player house or something. Matter of fact, you could give us our own ship, and we could have like the portal to it on there or something. I mean, there's a lot of things. I'll get to the ship later on, but you could give us our own player housing and our own clan housing. You could even do something to where there's clan housing in the city, and your player house is your throne world, or even if you don't want to go the throne world route, if that's just too silly for you, then just a straight up apartment in the city, or like an interior of a ship that we can decorate. Some kind of player home that has function too. I'm gonna get a lot of inspiration from Warframe when I talk about this, and I do think that Bungie and I think it's not Wildcard. I do think that DE and Bungie could, collaborate a bit. I mean, their games cross a lot of the same spheres. They got a lot of the same player base. I think they probably could collaborate, and they do collaborate with, people all the time. So I see no reason that they couldn't do it if it's mutually beneficial for them. But a lot of the ideas I got are going to kind of come from Warframe. Like, for example, there are certain weapons in Warframe that you can only get by joining a clan and then building that weapon. I think you can do something the same in Destiny 2, expend some of those resources, build up your clan, and then, have some weapon labs, or, unlock weapon blueprints that you can only get being part of a clan, with maybe some exclusive perks, or some, like maybe you can have like a clan perk or something like that, and your clan could choose from a list of perks, and then from there you could have like, certain weapons or colors, or even like a clan shader. So many things you could do with that. And hell, if you want to fucking monetize some shit, Bungie, if you want to monetize some shit, monetize some fucking player housing. I mean, stop monetizing the shit we can earn in game, like fucking outfits and stuff like that. Monetize fucking furniture and stuff that really is not going to have any kind of gameplay effect. I mean, let us earn some fucking shit again, but that would be one other way that they could monetize it. Now, I'm not saying that I want Bungie to have a bunch more ways to monetize things. When I'm talking about it, I am thinking of ways to alternate their monetization versus making all of our damn outfits monetized from silver only. I'm trying to draw away from that. So whenever I talk about them monetizing it, keep in mind I'm also saying monetize that, but unmonetize the shit they currently have monetized. So it's meant to be a replacement. I'm not saying I'm happy about these things, but if that's what they want to go, I think this would be much more acceptable for the community. But player housing, it'd be great. Do things like have your own shooting range for your for your clan. Have some kind of clan buffs, like when you're a part of the clan, you guys can activate a buff where you get, additional experience for your season pass, or your weapons level up quicker, or you earn, a certain extra percentage, of points like during strikes or stuff like that. Any number of things, or earn more glimmer, or like you set it to where you do so many strikes and you can earn like an ascended chart or something from your clan. Anything like stuff like that. We could do a lot of things with it, but Bungie just one, they haven't given us player housing, and that is something that people have asked for. But you could there are a lot of things that will benefit you by doing it. The other thing is too, like having an in-game clan chat too. You can actually go like imagine going to your clan house or your clan housing, and when you get in there, it is area chat with everybody in your clan. Or you can like type to everybody in your clan easily. You lean into I'm leaning into the MMO aspects a bit more. So I could have leaned into the FPS aspects more. I'm leaning into, they got solid FPS. I am leaning into the MMO aspects more, and I think if they make the game a bit more social, like the social spaces, you can't really do anything in. There's meant to be social spaces. Let's really give these social spaces some sociability. So have something like that, but also give us like I said, things we could actually earn, like some reason to have that, not just a social space, but things to earn some more motivation. And it's a looter shooter. We love loot. You could even do something to where, like I said, you can earn like blueprints that are like clan exclusive things, and leaning more into Warframe too. Have it to where you like put on like a clan emblem or something for your mark. Like have like a blank, well, like just a generic hunter, titan, and warlock bond or something like that. And then you can have your clan mark on it. You could actually submit a clan mark. You could even say, hey, if you want to submit it, you got to pay, $50. You can upload your image. We'll get it uploaded for you. We'll make sure it's all digitized, nothing inappropriate, and then everybody in your clan can now equip this. That's another way to monetize right there. That's one that clans will probably be willing to pay, and then you don't got to worry about taking it out of the pockets of everybody else. That's one right there, and you got your players doing the work for you. That's an easy one. Or they can design it right then and there with some kind of paint tool or something. Well, regardless, there's ways we can make that one happen. Again, a clan shader. You can even make it to where, certain... Like, obviously, I know a lot of people would try to just do all black or all red. I mean, whatever. But let them, select different colors or something like that. Or design their own armor. Something like that, where they can submit it. And then everybody in the clan has access to that from then going forward. And you only can use that while you have on clan armor. It'll be like you would automatically get a set of decorations for your armor that just reflect whatever the class armor is for that clan. And then if you change clans, it would just automatically reflect the new armor. Stuff like that. We could easily do some stuff like that. That's one idea I've got. The other one is definitely a lot weirder. I was thinking something along the lines of like an actual player ship, like an actual player space too. Like if we didn't do like a player home, or if you want to do like the player home in a ship, like actually give us a ship, and then like that ship will like provide us some kind of bonuses while we're in battle. It'd be like, if you have like I want to utilize the actual ships we get too, like in game. Like if you have certain ships equipped, like each ship would have like randomized stats. Like if you got like certain exotic ships from like certain seasons, it'll be like, you get, an additional 2% damage for void weapons, and then, your solar supers do this. Like, it'll be random, but each one have like its own one, and you would want to try to find a ship that had, the stats you wanted on it, or whatever randomized stuff it had on it. So stuff like that. But we can make use of the things that don't have use in game. I mean, no one's going to complain about having additional stats. So let's give us a reason to have those ships and actually show them off. But, I mean, clan stuff could be a lot better. Player housing could be a lot better. And it's not hard to put stuff like, player banks and stuff in there, too, to access our vaults. I mean, this is all very easy stuff to do. And then, yeah, I think players would really like doing that. Now, another one I was talking about is, this is the one that, I'm saying, really stay with me on this one, because I know you're going to probably say that's a dumbass idea, but please stick with me. I'm going to explain this as best I can without sounding like a moron. But this has been playing in my head all day, and I really want you guys to hear this idea. Okay, so one thing that you want to do with an MMO is make sure you have give players a reason to grind. Now we have, it's a looter shooter. We grind for weapons and armor. We're about to get that grind again when Frontiers comes out. But give us another reason. So I'm thinking if we have player housing in the game, make it to where certain, like every enemy's got like a certain chance, like a really, really, really small chance, but a chance to drop, like certain furniture items or stuff like that. Like, every basic Vex enemy has got like, a 1 in 1,000 chance or something, to drop like this, Vex themed sofa or something like that. And I say 1 in 1,000 because we kill these things by the millions. So you would have a reason to say grind certain strikes, or you'd have reasons to like, do certain raids. Raids would have a chance, drop like, whatever that themes, stuff for your player housing, or, anything like that would be amazing. So that's one thing to do. But the big idea I got that is really insane is I think they should add in a Destiny card game into the game. Stay with me. I know you're saying that's probably a dumbass idea, but just stay with me here. So this card game would basically just be based around everything in the game already. You'd have different guardians, you'd have your guardian cards, you would have different, cards, like weapon cards that you would, that would do so much damage to your opponent, and you would set it up to where it'd be a card game you can only do digitally, kind of like Hearthstone. You'd be able to do stuff in this card game that you would not be able to do in any other game, but it would play like you were actually playing your character. Like, you would build your deck, and you would have like, you would start off with like your basic guardian, and you would have, it would automatically be equipped with certain weapons that could do so much damage, and as you draw cards, you could say, draw an exotic. You can only have like, you could say you can only have, one exotic equipped to each guardian. It'll already have basic armor on, but then you could equip it with an exotic, and it would get that ability. Or you could like draw an aspect card and equip it to that guardian, and it can then use that aspect. Same thing with like fragments. You draw it, you can then use that fragment. And then, like, you can even have things like Ghost Card. If your Guardian dies, if you got a Ghost Card, you can play it, revive your Guardian. And then, if you're, like, doing something like an ad clear phase or something like that, after so many turns, your Ghost Card would come back, and then you can reuse it or something like that. And if you're up against, like, a boss, it could be like a Dark Zone, and then it would have, like, an extended timer or something on it before you can get that Ghost Card back. Stuff like that. But it would basically be, you could do it PvE or PvP. It would be like, imagine Hearthstone, but every wave is just like a bunch of enemies that pop up, and then you then got to take your Guardian and then draw a card to try and take him out. It'd be like a few rounds of ad clear, and then you would take on a boss, and again, you'd be using your tactics. You'd be able to move your character around to avoid enemy fire. There might be, different stuff on the arena, like cover to take. There might be some random traps. It would basically play the way you would play an actual strike or dungeon or a raid or something like that, but you would be, drawing cards and taking turns. It'd be turn-based. And it can be, I would say it could be up to 3 players for like, if you're doing like a strike or something, but that might take a while. It might be something that's only single player, or maybe up to 2 players, but that is something you could do. Now, how is this going to help the game? It's going to help in a few reasons. One, it's going to give people that like Destiny 2 and like playing card games, it's going to snag them and help them stay along longer, because there are going to be some reach there. But it's also going to give players another thing to collect, because the big thing with the cards is going to be every card is going to be linked to a lore page, and every lore page will be linked to a card. One thing I've always hated about Destiny 2 is the lore and how not the lore, I love the lore, but how they present the lore. I think if you, like, imagine Magic the Gathering card. It's always got, that background and flavor text. Imagine the flavor text of, the lore cards, some of that. Turn them into cards that you can actually play in the game. I think that'd be awesome. And then I think you could actually you would set it up to where you can actually earn lore cards that are from past seasons and get entries you can no longer get by earning that card, in certain game matches. Like, you could actually earn that card, or if you earn that lore card, through the match, you then unlock it for real, giving you access to previous titles, previous lore entries. I mean, that'd be pretty damn cool. And if you already got that lore card unlocked, you would automatically unlock the card for it. So I think something like that would be pretty cool. And the real cool thing is that you can set it up for PvE, you can set it up for PvP, and then, keep in mind, I got no idea how the Red War lawsuit's going to go, but I know that they don't have the content they took from us anymore. It's gone. But they could technically retell that And they could do it using the card game. Well, let's say, like, it would be like an expansion. Like, they would come out with all the basic cards, whatever they would come out with, the base set, and then they would go back and retell, all the stuff that were missing, and they would do it by launching different card sets. They would start with, like, maybe, they might start from the beginning, Destiny 1, or they might start where we're at now, and then, go back and release, from Destiny 1, but it would be like, the Red War set. We'd go through and we'd fight through the Red War campaign, using that card game, and then they could even add in the original cutscenes if they got them, or remake them and add those in between the card games. You wouldn't have to worry about grinding like we did before. You would just play your game, win that match, and would do the next cutscene, and then you would go through and play through the whole Red War, and then they would show those cutscenes. Same thing with every expansion that's come out so far. Every expansion, every season, they can all be their own card games, or not card games, all their own expansions. I mean, that right there is going to give you a ton of artist work. It's going to give you a bunch of people definitely playing the game because they're going to, one, some people that love card games are going to want to play it. Some people who are just curious about it are going to want to play it. People who want to go back and replay the old story are going to play it. People who just love collecting things are going to play it. Lore nerds are going to want to play it obsessively. If you do it correctly, it could be a really cool system. And then you could even do stuff like raid races for like the card games. Like, you can actually come out with like if you set it up to where you could do the campaign is only solo. You could do like 2-man dungeons or strikes, and then you could do maybe dungeons or raids. You could do 3-man or something and balance them around that. You could even set up strikes to be Grandmaster still. Stuff like that could be cool. So you can have your regular build and your Grandmaster builds for your decks. I mean, stuff like that would be. There really is no limit to what you can do with this. Now, the big things, like I said, are you can go back and retell stories. You've already got, dozens of expansions worth of cards you can go through. You've already got everything set up. And the nice thing is that once you've got the framework for these cards set up, you don't really have much more work to do except, type in some numbers and, type in the card effects and add them into the game. That's all you got to do. Unless you want to, represent the cards 3D or something like that. You can do, 3D models like the Guardians or something, too. But, once you've got that framework in, it's just a matter of just designing a few new strikes when there's a new release, and then the cards themselves is just adding in the new card, and you're good. So that is some other idea. Again, people didn't think that. I don't think a lot of people thought that Rage would do good in FPS, and it did. I think this could be really good for Destiny 2 having in the card game. I really I damn near want to make the game myself, and that is how prevalent it is in my head. But that is something else to think about. So player housing and a card game, like I said, these things give people something to do besides playing the content that's come out here recently and then leaving. I mean, it gives something else to grind for one. We're going to have a lot to grind for here soon, but I don't think people are going to complain about an abundance of content, even if that content isn't necessarily stuff that everyone is doing. I say that because I played Final Fantasy XIV and I played a lot of other MMOs. There's a lot of stuff in there a lot of content that not everybody does. I mean, I played Final Fantasy XIV for, how many hours have I played this game? I played Final Fantasy XIV for 3.5 thousand hours. Damn. And, I'm telling you, there's just a ton of content I just haven't done. I mean, there's tons of side quests, but there's tons of class quests I haven't gotten to, tons of more stuff I haven't done, and not a lot of it I'm not going to do, but I'm not complaining that it's there. I love that there is content there to do, and there are people that do some content I don't do, and vice versa. So no one's going to complain that you got too much content, but it is nice to make sure that they link together too. One of the things that Warframe has an issue with, and this is, I'm bringing up the Warframe connection again, one of the things I have an issue with is that they come out with these cool systems like Railjack, but they are standalone. They don't interact with each other in any significant way. I mean, Railjack had one or two things you could get from it that really affected the rest of the game, and that was really it. They've come out with more since then, and they've tied it into the story and all sorts of other stuff, but they have a real bad habit of poorly implementing a lot of systems. And they don't have anything for PvP. I think I've queued for a match one time in my entire life, or one day in my entire life, and I never went back. They have no PvP scenes, so. But, yeah, that's all I've got for today. I mean, I've got a lot of ideas. There's a lot of things that Bungie could do to improve their standing. I think it would take someone to actually come in and do a lot of crazy shit to really do that. Hell, if they want to bring me in, I'll do it. I got a ton of ideas. Hell, if they work, I'll take the credit. If they don't, I'll say fuck it. I tried. I mean, I got a better chance of getting Bungie on the right path to Destiny 2 right now than the current execs do. I think that's how bad it is, and I'm not an exec, so that's how bad it is. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you guys think they can do to help improve the game, or to help. I don't. Let me know if you think Bungie's just gonna die. So it's a very good possibility. I mean, this is a very real thought that we may lose the game we love, or that's just completely taken over by Sony, and it gets even worse with monetization. Who knows? But that'll do it for today, guys. Thank you for coming by, and I will see you all on the next video.